What is going on, Brookie Nation? We are actually back this time because we took a week off. We did. And we're here. We're feeling it.
But we're back.
We are back. A dinosaur story. That's always my we're back joke. Anyway.
Yes.
I am the Mackie Mouse.
I am Isla.
Yes, you are. And we are. Storybrooke.
Not doing it together.
Tired. We are Storybrooke Circus, a once upon a time podcast. We have both seen the show in its entirety, and we are now putting it through its paces, one episode at a time. We're currently in season 1. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first episode, please go back and listen to the rest, where we're probably funnier and way less tired. As it is almost midnight that we are recording.
Speak for yourself.
That's true. Yeah, no, you're wired. You're getting it right now.
I'm good.
We do announce at this point in the show that we have a YouTube. Hello, YouTube brookies. And we get to enjoy Isla's gorgeous mane of hair.
Oh my gosh.
Very beautiful. Got this nice little purple going on. You look fresh, girl. You look fresh, as always.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trying out new things.
You're welcome. Would you like to take the opportunity to talk about your recent trip?
Oh my gosh. So guys, I went to Walt Disney World.
Yes,
As we
you
know,
did.
our little Brookie secret. I went and I took my Harper Jane and my husband Bart to the parks. Oh my gosh. It was so perfect.
We got to take
It was
pictures
hot.
together because she came to
hot.
my neck of the woods. So we got to
Yes, I got
be
to go out to
together in
dinner.
person. Oh, it was so
With
nice.
Mackie and his beautiful wife Taryn and his beautiful mother.
And my Mama Mackie. She happened to be in town and she was hanging. She was like, I want to meet your friends. She had an amazing time. She was having so much fun.
Glad.
It was so good.
And if you didn't catch last week's episode, a surprise listener called in and left a review and told me that they were listening to the show. One of my best friends, Jessie, she also was in Disney last week. It was just a perfect storm. It was so magical.
Oh, it was so nice to just have the fam all together in one place. Minus a few people. Well, we're always missing some people, but we got that many people together, which was a miracle that it was
great.
Happened to
it
work
felt so
out.
good after everything, this past year. And then just like not being able to like hang out with your friends. Like it just felt so good to just have a very low key chill. We ate good Italian food.
We did. We had some great Italian food. Shout out Buca di Beppo for killing it with us.
Awesome. Loved it. We'll be back.
We will be back. So yes, a lovely Disney trip for Isla. I have been working my tail off, and we did miss last week. We are sorry that we had to skip a week. We got some condolence messages from people who were like, oh man, like my Friday is we didn't realize like how many people rely on this Friday release, which is really flattering that people may have made this show a part of their weekend routine and they miss it when it's gone. Like that really does make us feel really
That means
good.
a lot to us.
It does.
So it is tough when we do have to take a week off, but we are very appreciative that you come back and listen when we do come back. And thank you for not like it makes us feel really good that you guys look forward to these episodes on Friday, but it's also really nice to know that the Brookies aren't like mad at us or like they're not like shaving us like, oh, how dare you take a week off to spend it with your mother and your child for their birthday. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's nice that like everyone's okay and they're happy like that we do come back.
We appreciate the flexibility, and every once in a while, we gotta kind of bob and weave a little bit. I remembered what was going on with the week before this one that we just released. It was released on like a Monday because we didn't make that Friday one and we had to wait the weekend. That's kind of what it was. But it's okay, and you guys have let us know it's okay. You've been very, very kind. But now I think we're back in kind of a routine now. Yeah, I think we've got that settled out. By the way, we're still working on this Lost Patreon campaign, and we're going to talk about it again a couple times in the show. But like, tell your friends. Got a text down the hatch to our voicemail number, which we'll talk about in a minute. But we're getting close. We're getting close to our goal, and an oncoming Patreon with both a full Lost review show and a movie club and a Storybrooke Circus movie club where we do this exact same format, but with a movie of your choice. It will be a multiple choice, but it will be voted on by the people. So that'll be part of the Patreon benefits. If we hit this goal, we're going to activate it immediately. So if you're excited about it, get your friends on it. I'll tell you now. I'll give you the number now. Why wait, right? Don't procrastinate. 207-536-8512. You're going to text the words down the hatch to 207-536-8512. Don't worry. Nobody's going to answer. It's just me. I won't freak you out. That's all you have to do. You don't have to say who you are or where you're from. Just text those 3 words and we'll count it towards our goals. And then we'll be able to give you guys more content because people have been asking for extra content, which is also really flattering in and of itself. Just asking for more. We're like, we don't even know that you didn't even know you liked this. Yeah. But you're like, we want more. We're like, oh, dang. Okay. So that's that. We would like to, as we always do, dedicate this first part of the show to our listeners in our segment that we call the Storybrooke Daily Mirror. I couldn't find the button. I legitimately was making that slower because I couldn't find the sound effect button on the board. Because skipping that week, I was like, I don't even remember what this looks like. Is that bad? My gosh. So bad.
Yes.
We get into kind of a rhythm, and when you get that broken up, I feel you guys. I feel you. So the Storybrooke Daily Mirror in the world of Once Upon a Time is a fictional story paper where Sidney Glass writes about everybody in the neighborhood because he's, the magic mirror who reports to the queen, etc. In our world, the Storybrooke Daily Mirror is also a fictional newspaper where you guys submit all sorts of stuff so that we can read it on the show. Tell everybody out there, our fine listeners, how they contribute to the Storybrooke Daily Mirror. Exclusive club. How do you get in?
So much, Mackie, for passing this over to me. We do have a phone number that Mackie gave earlier. You can call that number. You can text that number. You can say whatever you would like. We're going to read it on the air. You want to tell us something good? Call in. You want to tell us something bad? Call in. Text us. We will not respond, only on the show. You're good. If you mess up in your voicemail the first time, call back, redo it. We don't care. Keep the messed up one. Again, we don't care. We have 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. If you are an Apple user and you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, please, if you feel so inclined, to leave us a 5-star review. And when you do, there is a little box to write something. And if you write something, again, we're going to read it on the air.
Think of it like a love note. Like you're literally passing us a love note that just to be like, you guys are great. And if you think we suck, then write the love note and be like, you stink. And then we'll read that on the show.
Yeah. And speaking of love notes to love letters, we have an email. So if you want to send us an electronic letter, you can. Our email is thesbcpod@gmail.com.
This is the 17th time we've done this. And every single time we do this, you find a new way to make me chuckle. And I really appreciate that about my co-host. Thank you for that. Very well said.
I got your back.
Very well said. We keep it fresh on the show here. This is really just a show where you guys are watching us try to amuse each other. That's
the pizza pie is a fresh.
If somebody doesn't clip that one little piece and put it somewhere, it's a missed opportunity. Okay, so let's get into it. I think it's appropriate since we were talking all that Apple review stuff, our 5-star reviews. Let's start with a new review that we got on Apple Podcasts. I will take it away.
Dork Swan Mills showed up for us in this review titled Hilarious Commentary. If you enjoy Once Upon a Time and all its quirks and puns, you'll enjoy this podcast and its commentary. Also, you get the bonus of very interesting behind-the-scenes facts. I thought I knew everything there is to know about the show, but every episode of this pod, I still learn something new, which I love because this is my favorite show of all time. Like someone else said, I don't always agree with some of the things you guys say, but that's okay. I happen to have watched Once Upon a Time from a different perspective. Also, I'll likely be Regina Stan, aka Evil Regal, until the day I die. With that said, I'm loving the pod, loving you guys, and want you to keep doing what you're doing. As a truck driver, the longer the episodes, the better. They make my 11-hour drive seem much shorter. Keep it regal, you guys. Peace.
Hey.
Thank you so much, Dork Swan. She is a friend of ours over on Discord.
Yeah. Our Discord peeps coming out. A truck driver. So dope.
Yeah.
This is
so
great
cool.
material for truck driving. I had a friend, our family friend of ours, who used to drive trucks for Krispy Kreme donuts. He used to...
to crash into one of those beauties.
Okay, so here's the cool thing, right? I was probably like 11, 12 years old, or maybe 13. He lived in North Carolina, and his job was to drive the truck from the headquarters to the stores that do like when they say that the donuts are fresh every day, they mean it, right? Mm-hmm. He would every morning at like 4 a.m, right? He'd go to the headquarters, load the truck up with all these donuts, and just drive to every supermarket in town and drop off the new ones. Well, guess what?
Yep.
You just take the old ones in the truck and they get thrown in the garbage. So he got to just keep them because they were going to get thrown out. So he would just come home with all these Krispy Kreme donuts. So he used to take me on his routes every once in a while. We'd leave at like 11 p.m. and then just like drive donuts around the supermarket until sunrise and then go home and sleep.
Pretty dope.
I was like, this is kind of the coolest job ever. So yeah. I know about the truck driver life and truck drivers. Like, you know, then you get into the people who are driving trucks like across state lines. So if you have an 11-hour drive, if you are able to talk about what you do and a bit more specifically in your truck driving, I would love to know more information because I think that stuff is super interesting. But I love this message. What the hell is this? This is a review.
We are also Regina stans.
We are super Regina stans for sure. Oh, especially Lana.
I hope we come across as Regina stans. Do we, guys? Like,
I think we're so busy, hung up on so many other characters other than Regina. I don't think we've really dug in too hard in her that anyone thinks that we like really don't.
Oh, we love her.
Yeah, she's pretty.
But thank you so much for this review. Like, I'm glad that we're a part of your workday, which
I know
that's a big deal for me personally. Like, anything that lifts you up during difficult hours of the day during the working week.
Work is hard.
If we're one of those things that brings a positive to your workday, that means the world to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially stuff like that where you need to like stay awake.
Like mine's getting a lunch break coffee.
Right. Yeah. You're like sitting in a chair for 11 hours driving.
I'm like, an iced mocha cream only on my lunch break. What a good day.
So the fact that we are your
we're your lunch break coffee.
That's kind of,
I love it.
That's like really touching that we're that. Also, even regal. I like it. Keep it regal. That's kind of a nice little sign off. I love that people are like adopting the sign off thing that we're doing. Like in all of their messages and stuff. Guys, please keep doing this. I love this so much.
Even if you're not saying XOXO Gossip Girl, I have wanted to be validated by that for a long time. And the fact that everyone is just picking up on it organically is... I love it so much. I know there's just nothing. There's nothing more classic than a good sign off.
Just like a little button
over and
at
out.
The end. Like I think it's the organic nature that all these things are coming up in that's really making me happy. You know what I mean?
Like I know I sound ridiculous every week when I cannot get our sign off right, and maybe I never will. Who knows? Who cares?
Oh God, we didn't practice before.
Stay gold.
It's been a while.
Stay rumple is just. It hits me home.
Yeah. And it came up.
Stay randomly. Regal feels that way.
It does.
You know, like that's a good one.
Keep it regal. Oh, I love it. You guys are coming out. Storybrooke, like I say this every week, and I'm probably not going to stop. Storybrooke Daily Mirror is our favorite segment on the show because it feels like we're talking to our friends.
Better than the show.
It really is. This is way better than the show. The people who actually like Once Upon a Time probably disagree. They're like, get this out of my face. That's not even the only 5-star review we've gotten. We have a second one.
We get another one.
How? Thank you. Okay, let's get into it.
Disney for Life 1987. Was that the year you were born? Says, titles this That's amazing. I've been watching once. Oh, really?
Yeah. March 87. It's me. Yay. Carry on.
87.
We're not going to talk about it. We're just keep going. Yeah.
I've been watching Once Upon a Time for a long time. So much that I've seen the entire series from start to finish about 5 to 6 times.
Heck yeah.
Mackie and Isla put such an interesting spin on everything that I'm seeing it in such a different light. They break everything down so even those who are watching or listening for the first time can understand all the minute details. All the jokes that they crack make it feel like I'm watching with friends. You won't regret listening in. P.S. Isla, is this enough words? Yes.
I love that people are that we get called out for calling people for like the longer your messages are, the more we like them. Not the more we like them, but we love that people are not
like
afraid
choking
to
on my own
just
spit over here trying to like read these out, and they're like, is this enough?
Also,
is this your word count?
Because we asked for it, and I know that people will respond and call us out on, especially in the Discord. It's minute details. I know someone's going to come back next week and be like, yeah, that's okay.
It's spelled the same.
It is spelled the same. We're going to pretend like it didn't happen. It's fine. I didn't want you to get called out. I knew it was going to happen. I'm trying to protect you. That's all I'm saying. I am not shaming you at all. Listen, I read stuff wrong all the time, and I'm just trying to I got your back. That's all I'm saying. I got your back. Let's make sure we don't. I don't want to hear it from nobody being like, I was at this wrong. Nope, we got it. We're gonna keep going. It's okay. No need to stick on that. I broke her.
I can't even like tell you what I thought I was said.
There's nothing contextual. First of all, it's a stupid word that is spelled the same. English is dumb.
I thought Disney for Life meant down to the minute detail.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like contextually, there's nothing saying that that's not the word minute. It's stupid. English is dumb. English is very stupid. But like,
I'm supposed to learn a second language and I don't even know my first.
I mean, does anybody? Let's be honest here. Who among us? Who among us?
Every time somebody's like, why aren't you fluent in Polish? I'm like, I had 19 years to learn the first language.
Right. That's hard. Guys, it's hard expressing yourself. We're lucky we don't just make grunting sounds and do a lot of hand gestures.
Minute is spelled the same way as minute.
Like, who decided, like, oh, we're really going to screw
Who picked that?
We're also going to make the U a long U and put this dumb E at the end that no one needs. Like, English is the dumbest language ever.
Disney for Life, I'm not coming for you on this one.
No. We're coming for the English language. The English language.
Yeah, the entire English language as a whole. I'm blaming King George III on this one.
Yes. But Disney for Life, 1987. Also,
John Groff, this is your fault.
John Groff specifically. No one else, just you. Another one of our Discord brookies, Disney for Life, 1987. A recent one, I believe, jumped in with the review right away. I love the people who come in and get involved immediately. It's also very telling of how much you guys like it that you
our hypnosis is working.
Yeah, we love that. So that's our reviews. We have a couple of also our messages, people who have texted or gave us some voicemail. So we'll do the messages first real quick. Dork Swan Mills wanted to add a very small additional thing. Forgot to mention, I am Val from Cartersville, Georgia, for your map. Also, thank you guys for contributing to the map. I love that you guys are so awesome. Seriously, you're the best friggin' listeners in the whole world. Cartersville, Georgia, our cartographers, our Storybrooke city clerks, Miranda and friends. Please add Cartersville, Georgia. From Val. What else? We have, let's see, Amanda. Got it. Amanda is Disney for Life, 1987. I had to piece all these together. Okay. Her name is Amanda, and she said, I'm a longtime fan of Once. I don't want to spoil anything, but I do want to give a little tease for next season. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be meeting a certain leather-clad Irishman who you will all swoon over. Well, most of you. You want to make sure you're sitting down when this happens. You'll thank me later. Love it.
She's not wrong.
For those of you who know what she's talking about, you'll appreciate what this text is. And for those of you who don't, we are very close to what she is talking about. We're probably about, let's see, 21, 22, 23, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 episodes away from what she's talking about. So that will not remain a spoiler-free thing for very long. You won't have to be in the dark if you don't know what that is. I feel like most people who are listening to us already have seen the show, so they know what she's talking about.
Right.
And they're probably pretty excited about that. Before we do the last text message, because it is also, I like that you guys are using the text messages as like extra notes for the other things you're doing.
Yeah.
Like that was a note for reviews. we have Jordan, who left us a voicemail, who then left extra notes in the text messages. So I'm going to play the voicemail first, and then we'll do the text. Here is Jordan.
Hi, Mackie. Hi, Isla. I love the idea of thinking about I am talking to you on my couch. This makes me feel very comfortable, as I'm sure is always the goal. I have not checked in with you guys in a while, in the rest of the Brookie community, but I am a little behind on the pod. I just finally finished, it took me about a week and a half of listening. I just finished listening to Red Handed, and I love the fact that I'm not sure how this went over my head, but like I never got the innuendos that this was talking about a menstrual cycle, which like obviously it was. But I have a little bit of a bomb to drop. And I'm wondering if, because of the way I was looking at the episode, if this is why it happened this way. I was not floored when she was the wolf. I thought it was very cool, but I was not surprised by it. But I think, and you guys don't mention this at all, it's because I was focused on the fact that Peter was her boyfriend and the fairy tale of Peter and the wolf. I was wondering how that was going to play out, like how they brought Peter into it. Just a little sidebar. I don't know if anybody mentioned it because I haven't started listening to Heart of Darkness yet, but I miss you guys so much. And as you know, we're deep in Lost now, so I'm enjoying that. But thanks for keeping life interesting, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Thank you, Jordan.
Aww.
We love Jordan. So here's what Jordan texted after that. I had to share this with Isla visually because it's a part of a visual gag that we're going to do. She said, hi, so I just left a voicemail. I don't think I ever said my name. That's how important I am that you should just know it's me. I roll at myself. Anyway, it's Jordan. Also, we 100% knew it was you.
Yeah.
You have a very distinct voice, but that's okay. Hello, and I love you. I'm also waiting for Isla to announce that she wrote in here the city that she is representing, and she would like Isla to pronounce this city in Massachusetts. Can you see it on the screen? I made it really big.
Oh my gosh, you're from Tewksbury?
Tewksbury, Massachusetts. Nailed it.
Yeah, okay, that's the right one. I couldn't see it for a second.
So for those of you who don't understand what's happening.
Tewksbury? You say Tewksbury.
Tewksbury is spelled Tewksbury. This is coming from a conversation that we had about the pronunciation of some dumbass cities in Massachusetts that are spelled crazy. I think
CJ can't pronounce
Worcester, which is spelled all kinds of crazy shit with a C in it for no reason.
It's Worcester.
Yeah, it's Worcester. So Jordan had pointed out that the city that she's from is also frequently mispronounced. I only know it because my wife talks about, she is from Massachusetts and she talks about these cities all the time. So Tewksbury came up a lot. But yeah, she was desperately wanting Isla to see if she could pronounce it. And you did it. And we're proud of you. That was part of...
Town names in Massachusetts I'm actually not terrible at because of my job. I get claims all over the state of Mass.
Right.
So
you have to, yeah.
I have different, like Dorchester, Hyde Park, like Tewksbury, Attleboro, all of these. Like, they're just like, Massachusetts has some, we're out there.
Yeah, real weird. But yeah.
Boston has like 7 different towns in it.
It's very strange. Massachusetts is a trip. But yeah, Jordan, that was there you go.
Jordan from Tewksbury.
I promised. Yeah, so that's where we're going to add that to the map, obviously. But that was a part of one of our follow-up bits that we needed to complete. So there you go. I hope we close the loop on that for you, Jordan. And I think that means that we got through all of our messages and our voicemails. Yeah, that's the Storybrooke Daily Mirror, which we close out by once again reminding everybody to text down the hatch to this number, or if you want to leave a voicemail or a text message like our fine participating brookies just did, the number again is 207-536-8512. And then you can text and voicemail, or if you really want that Lost Patreon, we're real close. So if you want to help us out, then that's how you do it. And then you'll get some extra stuff. So now
leave
we can
a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Call us. Email us. Send us a DM on Instagram.
I know we say it a lot, but it really does. Like, look at how cool it makes the beginning of the show. You know, we got inside jokes we're doing with people from 3-4 weeks ago. Like, I don't know. It just adds a nice little layer of icing on top of the whole Once Upon a Time gig. Speaking of Once Upon a Time, I think it's about time that we probably start talking about the show that the angry people are probably talking about. Like, why haven't they talked about this show that I came here for?
Yeah, we'll put a timestamp in the notes. You're fine.
Yeah, whatever. Also, it's our show, so shut up. Season 1, episode 17. It's called Hat Trick.
Woo!
A hat trick. The character backstory is Jefferson. Who the fuck is Jefferson? I don't know who this dude is. But apparently we need a character backstory on him. This episode's going to be real weird. It's very out there. It's very like not in line with any of the stuff that we've done already. I mean, it sort of is. They sort of pigeonholed it in, but it feels like one of those weird, like when shows do crossovers or those like weird things that have nothing to do with the plot, or they'll like tie in way later. But for right now, it just seems to come out of nowhere. That's this episode. It's still really good, but it's a little weird.
The musical number.
Oh, well. We'll get into some musical stuff way later, but March 25th, 2012 is the day after my birthday, but also the day that this aired. Written by Vladimir Svetko.
Wow.
I don't know how to pronounce this. And David H. Goodman. This Vladimir guy is new, but David H. Goodman we know as the writer of Price of Gold, which is our first Mr. Gold episode, True North, which is the Hansel and Gretel episode, and What Happened to Frederick, which is our favorite love triangle episode that we just did recently. And then it's directed by Ralph Hemmicker, who recently directed 7:15 a.m., which is episode 10, which is one of our faves. I think that was our first and only 5-star episode so far, I believe.
Yep.
The ratings on this is 8.82 million on this one. The last episode was 6.2, so we got up a little bit from last week. I know no one cares about this statistic, but I can't stop talking about it. I don't know why. I'm in a loop every single episode.
The viewer one?
Yeah, the stupid like the viewer like ratings or whatever. One time it went over 10, and
Who was sitting on their couch at Sunday at 8/7 Central on March 25th.
But I keep copying and pasting this into my notes, so I'm going to keep telling you about it.
It's there now. It's a part of who the show is now.
It's part of the show. The synopsis. While searching for a missing Mary Margaret. Okay, I got to tell you, to be transparent, I didn't read the synopsis before I pasted it in, so I'm invested now. Okay. While searching for a missing Mary Margaret, Emma is kidnapped by what? Excuse me? Okay. Emma is kidnapped by a man whose affinity for hats has him teetering on the edge of madness. Is that the synopsis?
I'm sorry.
He kidnaps Emma?
What?
Okay, we'll continue. Meanwhile, viewers will be transported outside of the fairy tale land that was for the first time when the evil queen persuades a skillful man of magic to come work for her one last time and travel to Wonderland in order to help steal something from the Queen of Hearts. This episode is so strange.
What a fever dream of an episode.
I unfortunately didn't get a chance to do it before we did this episode, but I feel like I need to do some research and figure out what the heck is going on with this episode being in this place.
But is there anything more on brand than the Alice in Wonderland brought into this world than making it absolutely bonkers?
Yeah, and like being weirdly placed in the timeline and like all that stuff.
That feels kind of pretty like on purpose.
Yeah, pretty on brand. But I want to know if there's any like, you know, weird behind the scenes thing that made them have to do this at this place or something. Just, you know, it seems out of nowhere. You know what I mean? that this would be so off the beaten path from what we have been doing so far. But if I do that research, we'll talk about it in the next episode, because I have a bunch of other stuff that we can talk about now, and I'm going to have to go hunt for what's going on with showrunners and stuff. But this next section, we will be talking about our production notes. This is when we talk about our behind the scenes and props and brands and all kinds of fun, random little factoids that we found out about this particular episode. So first of all, this Jefferson guy, who's the guy who's playing the Mad Hatter, is inspired by Mick Jagger of the 60s, Rolling Stones, apparently. So I guess not just the way he looks, but also the way he acts. According to Edward Kitz's, his mansion is inspired by Stargroves, which is the big country house that Mick Jagger owned in the 70s, and kind of has this... Mick Jagger was always a little bit kooky, He always had that
Mick Jagger was almost my dad.
Excuse me? I feel like we have to pause so you can explain this story.
My mom went to a lot of Rolling Stones concerts. And she went to one with my dad, and Mick Jagger's bouncer security guy came up to her after with a bottle of some sort of alcohol and was like, Mick would like you to have this and wants to know if you would like to come up.
Oh my God.
Like in the whatever.
And
she was like, I'm here with him, actually. And it was my dad.
Good for your mom. Claps for your mom.
She turned out Mick fucking Jagger.
That's crazy. Wow. I don't even know how to process that. That's
another addition to my parents.
Your parents' stories.
They are.
Oh, it just keeps getting better and better. Every story that I
So every time I'm just like, oh, Mick Jagger, like my dad. Like
oh my God. Well, Jefferson is inspired by Isla's almost dad, rockstar Mick Jagger.
Yeah, my half stepdad.
Your half stepdad. Perfect. Mickey.
And we're on a first name basis. It's casual.
I love it. Oh my God. Ooh, all right, some cast notes. Moving right along.
Also, who was the Mad Hatter played by? Hello,
we didn't talk about this. Did we want to leave that? I guess we can't leave it as a surprise because we just ruined it last week because we talked about it. Sebastian Stan is who plays Jefferson.
Carter Bazin.
And most people, as of the date of this recording, know him as... I was like, that's the only thing he did.
We live in the CW universe here.
Oh yeah, DC's not really. I guess DC is on CW, to be fair, which also. Oh no, it's Marvel. So yeah, it's perfect. CW is the anti-Marvel.
Well, okay, so maybe a small percentage of you, if you've heard of the Marvel franchise.
So like a couple, like 3 or 4 of you might recognize him as Bucky in Captain America.
Bucky Barnes.
And in
But if you're sophisticated and classy and know good entertainment, you know him as Carter Bazin from the best show.
Boom. Gossip Girl XOXO. We love us some Sebastian Stan on this show. We both
love him.
We are both Stans. That's what they call his fans. They call him Stans. We just decided that. He is friggin' phenomenal in the show, and I wish that he had more of a regular role on. I mean, he is going to come back. Spoiler alert. We will see him beyond the show, but very limited capacity. I just wish he was a regular on the show. I feel like he would have really fit in, maybe as a different character. He would have really fit in, but it's going to be such a strange departure seeing him, not play that serious role. He plays a kooky, Mad Hatter in this episode, so it's going to be really fun to see him stretch his acting.
It was just too much hot bottom guy liner for the show to handle. That's why he couldn't have been regular.
That's true. He gave too much.
Because we all know who comes in later.
Right.
We won't say his name. We'll save it. But like that,
you can only have.
I think that would have clashed too much.
You're right.
If we kept it going for too long, can only be one Pete Wentz per show.
Yeah, that's true. There can only be one. Speaking of clashing, actually, one of the notes, which I can't even find in here because I don't even remember if I wrote it down, but August, the guy who plays August in this, our favorite stranger, Eon, what the hell is his stupid name? Eon Bailey.
August.
Awful name. His name is August from now on. He apparently, all of his scenes in this episode were deleted And we think it's because
Again,
there's only room for one Hawkeye, and Josh Dallas doesn't count because he's charming, right?
Okay.
So, like,
thank you. Yes, Josh Dallas is cute and charming.
But he's not like
mysterious
one rugged
character that will show up in season 2. Hot.
Yeah.
Mad Hatter. Hot. August. Fire charts. Off.
Yes, accurate. So we can only have one. So he was just.
And this is not based on looks. This is also personality.
No, the whole package. Yeah, for sure. And Sebastian Stan, for what it's worth, is not just a pretty face. He brings it.
Right. He has that. Je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi. Yeah. And yeah, they couldn't have
Josh
both.
Dallas.
He doesn't have that.
Is not hot.
No, it's different.
He's who I'd want to pick me up if my car broke down.
He's dad.
And I needed a ride to the bad guy's house to fix my car in the garage, who I am mad at, but I secretly love him.
Yeah. Although
Sebastian Stan.
There is going to be some, also spoiler alert, some Josh Dallas.
Okay, but there is a hot Josh Dallas.
Yeah, so obviously all these characters play multiple people, so that's not really a spoiler at all. But he's gonna play another role we haven't seen yet. Who will fit the bill really well. Who is like exactly this character, and I'm so excited for you guys to meet him in like season 5 or something. It's like season 4 maybe. But when that comes, I'm really excited to see Isla's reaction and how we change our mind.
I remember, and that was my favorite version, actually.
Oh, yeah. And it wasn't enough episodes, honestly, because it was such a good performance, and it was only a few episodes. But when they were
I loved that whole.
Oh man,
I know we're keeping it spoiler free, but that whole time period where they are in that.
Yeah,
my favorite, because I love him.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
I do. Yeah. 100%.
I love him.
And the other characters around him also are our girl boss gang.
My gosh.
You know what I'm talking about, right? So like that introduces a lot of dynamics that are really
that whole piece is one of my favorites, and I cannot wait to get back into it.
People are so angry at us about talking so vaguely right now. They're like, what the hell are we talking about?
No, they know.
Guys, you guys know what we're talking about. We're excited to get there, but we need to get through all of this other stuff first.
I know. Sorry.
A lot needs to happen before we get there. It's important. Let's get back to our production. This is why our episodes are 3 hours long.
Sorry.
I know, I'm not sorry at all. I lied. I'm having fun. Cast notes. We have cast notes. Despite, I really like this one. Despite being his name being featured in the promos, this guy is uncredited in this episode. The guy who plays the caterpillar, his name is Roger Daltrey. And for those of you who are over the age of 35, you might recognize Roger Daltrey's name because he is the lead singer of the rock band The Who. Very famous rock band. Maybe you've seen a CSI episode time and again. All of the intros of the CSIs done by The Who. Their most famous song, Who Are You?
If someone walked up to me on the street and said, I'm in The Who, I would say, oh my God, cool. And I would have no idea if they were lying to me or not.
Honestly, me too. Me too, for real. Because I don't recognize this. I don't know his name. Like, I don't know name me somebody from Kiss who's not Gene Simmons. No idea. I know who the Kiss is. You know what I mean? Or Kiss, not the Kiss.
It's like Maroon 5.
Sure, name me a
You're telling me there's somebody else in that band besides Adam Levine?
Absolutely. No. The music just happens, and then around him. It's just right.
Aerosmith. Who else is in Aerosmith?
Okay, well, I know someone else in Aerosmith.
I don't. I only know Steven Tyler.
Super, super short flex. It's because I know Joe Perry's son, because he lives here. And he's awesome. He used to live in Boston. He used to live in Boston. I know him because... Oh my God,
really? Do I know him?
He literally just moved to Florida. He's friggin' amazing. And he's their entertainment photographer. He
the Rolling Stones. I know my dad, Mick Jagger. I don't know any of his bandmates.
Same thing. Yeah. Everybody knows the Beatles, but I feel like that's a more...
Honestly, though, again, if somebody came up to me and was like, I was in the Beatles, I'd be like, cheerio.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Alicia. I'm taking a brief recess for laughing. Oh God, this is why we shouldn't do these episodes after midnight. Ooh, okay. If I was the kind of person who edited a show like this, I would probably take that out, but I don't.
You won't.
You get this in all its glory. Anyway, lead singer of The Who is playing the caterpillar, and he has 3 words of dialogue. Ironically, those 3 words are, "Who are you?" which is the line that the caterpillar says in Alice in Wonderland. It's also one of The Who's most famous songs. So, full circle. The Who is accurately represented in this show. Love it. And he's uncredited, which is also cooler that they didn't like make a big and special guest star who only says 3 words. Like, I love that. It's like this little secret thing. They used to do that a lot on Star Trek. They would actually, Mick Jagger, speaking of which, Mick Jagger played an alien on Next Generation, and he was in full prosthetics, and so nobody really knew it was him. It's like a little trivia thing that they always talk about. Yeah, it's crazy. It's in a really early episode.
Is that like he was in the neighborhood that day and he was like, I would love to be on Star Trek, and then his agent was like, Mick wants to be on Star Trek.
I'm pretty sure,
do something.
As the story goes, yeah, he just wanted to be in the show and they hid him, so it wouldn't be like a whole thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I will fact check that for you and get it back to you next week. But I do know that people used to hide in cameos, like celebrities would hide in cameos in Star Trek all the time. So this is really awesome. And it's one that we would have never really known if we had just seen it, because we're not old enough to know who the hell Roger Daltrey is. Originally, Adam Horowitz and Edward Kitsis were going to hire another actress to be the old hag in the marketplace. But Lana Parrilla persuaded them to let her have it because she enjoys playing roles that require her to be older on screen than she is in real life. Thank you, Lana, for stepping up and being like, I can do this. Don't hire some other bitch to come in and do this for me. Like, I love that. She was just like, I got this. Like evil queen hag. You know what I mean? Like,
this is bad bitch energy right here.
I love Lana Parrilla so much. Love it. It is my ultimate goal before the show ends to get someone from the show to come talk on our podcast about the show. I don't know if Lana Parrilla is too big of a celebrity for me to get in touch with, but I'm going to try.
We can try.
I'm going to try. Listen, if a random senior can take Kylie Jenner to prom, I can get Lana Parrilla to talk on our podcast. That's all I'm saying. The universe can grant this to me, right? Isn't that how it works? I just say it out loud and manifest it. Isn't that what the Kardashians taught us? You manifest what you want.
In Kim's name we pray.
Let's see. The opening title card, which we usually talk about in the beginning, we're going to be looking out for Wonderland's mushrooms. It's going to be some kooky, weird, druggy shit in this one. Just some, I'm guessing.
We love that.
Love the drugs. The evil queen transforms into a hag to lure Jefferson's Daughters. This is a reference to how the evil queen transforms into a hag, selling apples to get Snow White to eat the poison apple. Mm-hmm. Actually, in the fairy tale, I can read. In the fairy tale, the queen merely disguises herself as an old woman. In the Disney version, she actually transforms into a hag, but in the actual fairy tale, she's just like wearing rags and stuff and just hides herself, which is also kind of interesting. We're going to get into some differences about the book in a second, so that's why I kind of put that in there, because there's quite a few differences from the novel to the actual stories that we are familiar with, because we were introducing them visually, right? The actual novels are slightly different. So this entire episode, as you can guess by hat trick, as you can guess by us talking about Wonderland, the whole thing is a rendition of the Alice in Wonderland story, right? And Once Upon a Time language, all of the fairy tales that we know of are not quite what we thought. There's always a little bit more to the story than we were told. So this is the Alice in Wonderland version of that, and it focuses on the Mad Hatter. In the novel, speaking of things being not the way that they appear in the novels. In the novel, he's referred to as the Mad Hatter to us. In the novel, they never used that term. Lewis Carroll never called him the Mad Hatter in the Alice in Wonderland novel. So we just made that up because Ed Wynn, who plays the Mad Hatter in the cartoon, and I think his name will come up later in this, but the guy who did the original visualization of Alice in Wonderland, made him crazy. So we did that. The evil queen. She leaves Jefferson's cottage. By the way, guys, this entire episode is full of Alice in Wonderland Easter eggs. That's the whole thing. That's all it's going to be, is just like little nodes to the book. When she leaves the cottage, the note card next to there's a bottle next to like a small pink box. It alludes to when Alice finds the bottle, it says "drink me," and she gets really big or really small or whatever. Mm-hmm. And there's a small cake inside the glass box. So the cake, I think, makes you smaller and the drink makes you bigger. Something like that. But that's what that's alluding to. Jefferson presents a hand-sewn bunny to Grace, which is patchy and dirty. That's a nod to the March Hare, who in the novel is the Hatter's companion. Grace has another stuffed animal that represents the Mock Turtle, which is another character from the story. She passionately calls it Mr. Tortoise. In the original story, the Mock Turtle says that his teacher was an old turtle called Tortoise. These are all just novel references. She also throws a tea party for her toys, which is a reference to the Hatter's tea party. There's a lot of tea references in this. There's going to be tea everywhere, apparently. They talk about every single tea reference, and I didn't put them all in here. Just assume we're definitely going to add to this particular episode. Every time we see tea, I'm ringing the damn bell, because, listen, tea time seems pretty obvious. So when Jefferson and the Queen walk past, the caterpillar sits on top of a large mushroom and asks, "Who are you?" That is something that actually happens in the book. Regina breaks off a piece of the magic mushroom, just like Alice does. The valet has been shrunken and then grows big when he eats the mushroom, mirroring the way that Alice grew and shrank when she ate the mushroom as well. Let's see. The Queen of Hearts is off with his head. I mean, these are pretty obvious references that we'll be able to see. While fighting with Jefferson, Mary Margaret grabs a croquet mallet, which is a reference to the end of Alice in Wonderland when Alice has to play croquet with the Queen of Hearts. I was pausing because I got scared that I was pronouncing croquet wrong. I was like, is it croquet? It's croquet.
It's croquet.
Croquet. Another stupid English word. Jefferson's hat. Jefferson's hat is a key plot point in this whole thing, like an extremely key plot point that will recur actually in other episodes. In the novel, they never specifically mention what kind of hat he wears. I thought this was so interesting. I didn't know this. We all know that the Mad Hatter wore this crazy giant green top hat, or like a dark top hat with this, weird fraction size on it, 10 and something quarters, 10 quarters or whatever it is, like weird non-fraction. The
top is like ripped off.
The top is ripped and he can talk out of it and all this stuff, right? Well, apparently in the novel, they never talk about what kind of hat. It looks like in chapter 11, the King of Hearts and the Hatter both comment on his hat, but do not state what kind of hat it is. The character's signature top hat comes from John Tenniel's illustration from the first edition of the novel, in which the Hatter wears a large top hat. He just made that up. And now in the cartoon,
that is so crazy.
Isn't that wild that they never really talks about it? But it's crazy.
But could you imagine anything else?
No, that's the thing. It's like, that's so intricate to like the fact that he was never called Mad and never wore a top hat. And if you said the word Mad Hatter and say the first thing that comes to your head, like top hat and crazy is the first two words that come to it. And neither one of those were the original intent of that character. Really weird that stuck so hard.
Bizarre to me.
And that we're finding this out in 2021. I was today years old when I found out that the Mad Hatter was neither mad nor wore a top hat.
Like, imagine if he was just like an accountant that wore like a boiler hat.
Boiler hat?
It's nothing. It will never be called what it's actually called.
We're not even going to talk about where this comes from. We're just going to call it a boiler hat. It's a bowler hat, but we call it a boiler hat. So now you can call it a boiler hat and you'll have an inside joke and you'll be like, you have to listen to the Storybrooke Circus to understand. We're going to leave it at that. When Jefferson and the Evil Queen enter Wonderland, they pass through a looking glass. Obviously, the original story is Alice through the looking glass, so that is a reference to that. We have some reused props. This is kind of cool. The door to the Wonderland vault is the same door to Regina's heart vault. that we've only seen a couple times, but it was painted a different color and given an intricate lock instead of door handles. The inside of the door has the exact same color to the door as Regina's vault and the same door handles as the inside of Regina's vault. That's kind of cool that that's what they would use for it.
Yeah.
Storybrooke Daily Mirror. One of the main headlines on the cover of the newspaper that Mary Margaret is reading, it says the science of memory, which apparently was put in there. The headline remembering can be glimpsed inside the newspaper. Apparently it's a subtle reference to the haze that all of the Storybrooke residents are living in, with their true identities completely wiped. Some like prop person put that in the newspaper. Isn't that makes cool? Sense. That as an Easter egg, I really like that a lot. As like it's almost like a litter, like that's some Jane Espenson level, right? Like our novel writer.
Yes.
I like that. Jane, we love you. Maybe I can get Jane Espenson to call on the show. Okay. Anyway. This is our favorite segment of the show. It's a new segment that we have. We have not named it yet. If you want to name it for us, please do. Oh, wait, I think someone did and I forgot. I'm going to go look through our notes again because I feel like someone did name this. But anyway, this is where we talk about the brands in the show. Yeah. Okay. So Jefferson, he has a vintage Akari light sculptured floor lamp. It's model UF4L10 in his living room. Akari light sculptures were paper lanterns. They were designed by Japanese-American artist and landscape artist Ishamu Noguchi, beginning in 1951, and it was handmade for a half-century by the original manufacturer in Gifu, Japan. The lights were created from handmade washi paper and bamboo ribbing and were supported by a metal frame. Why did they put that many words in the wiki? That was crazy. That was a whole history lesson. Anyway, we'll continue.
Yeah.
On the mantelpiece, there's a green egg on legs walking sculpture. That's the actual brand, okay? And a green egg on legs standing sculpture. On the workroom shelf, there is an ostrich egg standing sculpture from the same company. It is a reference to Humpty Dumpty, who also appears in Through the Looking Glass from Lewis Carroll. Love that.
Huh.
Meanwhile, the wallpaper in Jefferson's hallway and living room is a floral harlequin from Anderson Prints, and Jefferson's workshop has Arabian trellis wallpaper, also from Anderson Prints. This has been your brand section of the Who's Who of Once Upon a Time. That is the weirdest segment that we do. That's not even it. There's more, and I just didn't want to say all of them. One of the lamps is from Anthropology. So there's that.
Oh.
Hey. The other ones are just like...
They love to use their anthro. They got a good
really
budget.
Do. Right? They do love anthro. There's a lot of like, okay, there's teacup shaped lamps and there's, what else? These like random, Jefferson's living room features, I gotta pronounce this, a phenakistoscope. It's an early animation device. It's one of the animation device that uses that disc. Like you spin it and you look in the little slats. And when you spin it, it looks like a horse is galloping. Yeah. His living room has one of those in it. But I didn't know that that's what it was called. PHENAKISTOSCOP. Phenakistoscope. No one has ever said that word in the history of this English language. I don't know why anyone wrote that. It's fake. During Emma's struggle with Jefferson for the gun. Ooh, there's going to be a struggle. The weapon is pointing into... Oh, it's a goof. The weapon is pointing in different directions every time they cut the camera, even though no one touches the gun. I kind of like
Never mind.
That's hilarious. Anyway, those are our production notes.
Production notes.
Oh, God, I love this show. You haven't even watched the episode. This is pure chaos right now. This energy is just so wild. So this show shares writers. Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz are writers from Lost. So there are a lot of Lost Easter eggs in this show, and we like to point them out in an... I can't even speak right now. In a segment called What's in the Hatch. Every time we see these in the show, we try to play that hatch sound. In this episode, there are two of them. Jefferson's house number is 316. I like this because the normal Lost numbers 4, 8, 15, 16, 22, 4, 8, 15, 16, right? 22, 20, 42, 40 something, 5. Those are the normal numbers, but 316 is the Ajira flight, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking really, really, really far in. The Ajira flight is flight 316, so it's still a significant number, but it's not part of the like numbers, which is
right.
Cool. So it's nice that they kind of put in finally, because it's always been the normal numbers. So it's nice that they kind of put in a mixture this time. At the marketplace, when Jefferson hears the price for the stuffed rabbit, he says he only has 8 coppers. So that's kind of just a normal one floating out there. Mm-hmm. So anytime we see those two, we'll try to... 316 might be hard because they're not going to say it. It's just going to be on the wall somewhere. So I'm just going to have to find it. But that'll be nice if we can eagle eye that one. Hopefully we can find it. And now we watch the episode. Before we do, we want to point out a couple of, well, not rules, but things that we do anyway. We play a drinking game for funsies. You can drink any beverage that you like, but drinking games are fun. And this game... This show has a lot of easy things for the drinking game. Anytime you hear this sound, our bell, that is a sign to drink your favorite beverage, tea, water, or something. I was going to say,
beverage
adult.
Does not mean alcoholic beverage in any way, shape, or form.
No, it's just for the fun of...
If you're slinging back a water...
It's like punch buggy.
How about it?
Yeah. We have various
hydrated.
things. Anytime, there's magic, there's use of apples, but in this episode, we're going to do tea. So I want to see if we can hang for this episode. And I want to see bets on whether or not I cancel this part of the drinking game before the end of the episode because it's too annoying because there's too many pills. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. If you hear this sound, that is kind of a clink your drink, right? That's like a little cheers. And that's if we happen to see the things in the production notes, if we can point them out, then we will do a little clink just as a little nod to our production team. We also have this sound. That is the sound of me playing and pausing the episode. We got some requests to help sync the episode with us watching it while you are also watching it. So if you hear that sound, then you know that I'm either playing or pausing it. And if I get to a place where we have to rewind or something, then you'll actually get to hear our good friend of the show, William Smith.
It's rewind time.
Then we'll let you know that we're going backwards, and then we'll find a spot to sync together so that we can continue watching the show. And that's a little bit of housekeeping we do before the episode. The last thing that we would like to keep in our minds is the title reference. So hat trick, there's always some kind of reference in the show to whatever the title name is. And in this one, we're looking for something that Jefferson says to the evil queen. He says, "It's important that we stick together. Same amount of people that go through have to come back. No more, no less. It's the hat's rules, not mine." That's the hat. That is the hat trick, I think, is what they're trying to say. So with that, we will say adieu to our YouTube brookies. Thank you for joining us on the visual adventure that is the pre-show of the show. If you would like to continue listening to the show, then you can find it at your favorite podcast location like these. Bye.